Well. It comes down to this Super Bowl Sunday. We're live from New York. My name's Nathan Harvey. And as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are we doing today? Super Bowl Sunday is right around the corner. But today is Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. How are you doing tonight?
I'm dressed in red because I'm supporting the Chiefs.
Okay. I got an Eagles thing going on, and that will be our picks. We'll discuss our picks later on in the show. But let's get into our first topic because let's start earlier in the week. I think about Tuesday, up against in a loss actually. The Oklahoma City Thunder took down the Los Angeles Lakers, but LeBron was able to put up 38 in the game. He needed 36. He put up 38 with like 50 seconds left in the third quarter to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record. So I want to know, what is your reaction to LeBron passing up what a lot of people seem like was an unbreakable record?
Well, I'm happy for LeBron. I think he deserved to break the record. He's taken very good care of himself over the years. Always been in tip-top shape when he wasn't hurt. And it's paid off for him. He's one of the best players ever to play the game. And he's passed Abdul-Jabbar. I thought the fact that he was able to do it at home was great, right? And Kareem was there. And right after he broke it, he came out on the court and they embraced. I thought that was pretty cool. And I think it was a nice ceremony, and he got a little bit emotional about it. I can understand why. I mean, that's a lot of points, 38,000 points, right?
Yeah.
And that'll be tough to beat. I don't know who's going to come along and beat that. That's he's been playing since he got right out of high school. So he's had how many seasons now? How many seasons?
20.
20 seasons. How many seasons did Abdul-Jabbar play?
I think he played 20 as well.
20 as well. And LeBron's going to play a couple more, he said, for sure. So he'll score a lot of points there. I think he'll have a record that will be very, 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 very hard to beat. And will be in around, Kareem's record was around for many years, right?
39, I believe.
39 years. So it's great that Kareem was there to be able to pass the baton to LeBron.
It's an insane record.
I mean, we were there when Curry broke the three-point record at Madison Square Garden, and that was an interesting celebration. And Ray Allen was there for that, right? And so this has had a
Reggie
similar
Miller as well. Reggie Miller,
right. Reggie Miller was there. This had a similar feel to it, but I think it's a bigger record.
Oh, I think it's a much bigger record. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a much bigger record. So. Good for LeBron and good for the Lakers. They have the two players that have the record, although LeBron didn't play all his career with the Lakers like Abdul-Jabbar did. But
I believe also
Abdul-Jabbar didn't play all of his. He played some for the Bucks when he first started. So
same thing as Wilt. Wilt was on the Warriors.
And they went to 76ers, then to the Lakers.
And then the Lakers. So they've actually had three of the record holders, if you include Wilt as well. You got Kareem, Wilt, and you got LeBron. That's just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But like I said, though, I said this on Friday's show, that this would have been the record to put him as the greatest of all time. Because, I mean, this, like we said, it seemed like an unbreakable record. And for him to go out, score this, and supposedly he was practicing the skyhook pregame. So I thought, he kept seeming like he was getting ready. He was like putting himself in position to do the skyhook, but he did sort of that fadeaway that I guess he's kind of known for. But I was really hoping.
He'd break it with a skyhook.
You could take that two different ways though. You could take him as him, mocking it, saying, "Ha, I'm doing your move against you to break you." But I think it would have been more of a ceremonial skyhook to pass it, but no, he did like a fadeaway, and it was a beautiful shot. I mean, LeBron was on an absolute tear. I think he needed only 16 points left at that point heading into the third quarter, and he scored 16 in that third quarter. And I was talking to my brother, I'm saying, he's gonna I think it was like at the end of the first quarter, I said 2:18 in the third quarter, he's gonna break it. He got taken out with like 5 minutes left in the third quarter. He came back like 2.5, 3 minutes later and put up like 6 points in 2 minutes. I literally said, I'm like, if they kept him in, by 218, I guarantee you he probably would have had it. So I'm taking that as a win for me. Even though technically it wasn't, he scored.
You
like
think this makes him the best player of all time?
Absolutely, because like we said, this was basically an unbreakable record. I mean, the amount that you have to go through, 20 seasons, he's averaging right now in his career 27.2 points
Per game.
per game, and he's been doing this for 20 years. So you would need to play
Pretty consistent.
as the best player, essentially. It actually might be 32%, but what LeBron's doing, and especially because if you take a look at his top 3 scoring seasons, the let's see, his number 1 was 2005, 2006 when he's 21 years old. The next 2 are last year and this year. So at 38 years old, he's going out here averaging 30.2 points a game, and last year at 37 years old, he's averaging 30.3. So what LeBron's been doing, I mean, it's a longevity thing. That's why I've seen a lot of people compare him. Is he more like Michael Jordan? Or is he more like LeBron when it comes to Tom Brady? I honestly think he's more like LeBron James, truthfully. Now, obviously, Jordan is 6-0 and Brady has 7 Super Bowl wins. But when it comes to the record breaking,
Bill Russell has 11 championships.
He does. But when it comes to longevity and all the records being broken and some of them being shattered, like this scoring record, he said he could play a few more years. He's gonna play with his son Bronny, and then after that, play with his second son maybe. Who knows? Because he is in I think a sophomore in high school. 2-3 years, you're up in the league. There you go. You're playing with both your sons.
Yeah.
So what LeBron's doing, I would compare more to Tom Brady just because of how many records he's broken. Because he's gonna continue. I mean, who knows? Maybe. I mean, seriously, if he's gonna play 3 more years, and let's say he ends the year with what? How many total points do you have? 38,000. Let's say 38,388. Or that, I don't know why the number just randomly popped in my head. Let's just say that it is though. How many he might end the year with 3,900 points, maybe more this season. Let's say he plays 3-4 more years. How many points is he gonna end up with?
Yeah, maybe 45,000.
Because potentially, and that number just seems absolutely crazy because we're at 38 right now and he's 38
Maybe
years
he's going
old.
for 50,000.
That's pushing a little bit. But right now you're seeing a guy who's 37, 38 years old averaging 30 points a game. And he really,
he looks great too. He doesn't look like he's slowed down at all. He's in perfect shape.
He's not going up there and dunking it over people like he used to do in his early years. But still, though, he's one of the greatest passers.
Still
in basketball.
goes to the basket. He still goes hard to the basket.
And that was what he started off this game doing exactly that. You cannot stop him when he drives. So when he does that, I mean, if he still has even a glimpse of that, I mean, we saw Russell Westbrook. His athleticism was really his entire game. He's not a really good shooter. As soon as that went, Russell Westbrook's now a 6-man. He's not even starting anymore. Yeah. And we're talking about a guy who's probably a first ballot Hall of Famer in Russell Westbrook going back to the bench. LeBron still looks like he has his athleticism. He spends millions on his health per year, and that's paying off right now. You're playing till you're 38, and you're saying, let me play a few more years. I mean, it's ridiculous. So 45,000 does not seem out of the realm of possibility when LeBron's going out here averaging over 30 points a game at age 38. So, I was thinking 43 to 44,000, but 45 doesn't seem that unreasonable to me.
They asked him about being the best of all time, and he said, well, I do think I'm the best, but he can understand why others would think that there are other people that are the best too, that there are other criteria and things. So
I think that's rings as well. He's 4 and 6 in titles.
Yeah.
And that's another thing with Brady. Made it to 6 championships.
Right.
So he only won 4 of them. Brady won 7 of them. So on that regard, I guess.
Well, Brady got there 10 times.
So did LeBron. LeBron's 4 and 6.
And Brady's 7 and 3.
Exactly. So I'm still thinking though, LeBron right now passing this record in my mind, because Michael Jordan, we're putting him 1 and 2, 2 and 1. So Michael Jordan for most of my life, actually, because I always played 2K and he would always be the highest rated player of all time on 2K consistently year after year after year. He was always the greatest in my mind. But we're talking about here, we're looking at what people thought was an unbreakable record after Kareem broke it. 39 years. And LeBron's not done. If LeBron gets to 45,000, people are going to only shoot threes now to try to pass him. I mean, Curry right now is making like 400 threes in the peak of his prime, making 400 threes a season. I don't think he's very close to LeBron in points scored whatsoever. And we're talking about a guy who literally has changed the way basketball is being played. You can have 6th graders shooting up threes like they're Curry. We're gonna need some uber great 3-point shooters. to consistently make a bunch of threes to sniff LeBron's record now. And they would need to do it over the time of like 15 seasons. LeBron's playing 20 and could go to 25 maybe. So for me, he's the greatest of all time. But once again, like you said, like he said, there's a lot of other aspects to it. I mean, like you said, titles probably. You could put Bill Russell up there. He's won, 11 championships. Michael Jordan's won 6. I believe Kareem has won 5 or 6 of them. So you have that. I will give you that. But in my mind, passing what was considered an unbreakable record.
Well, I think it's between LeBron and Michael Jordan.
I think those are the only two acceptable. Really.
I mean, you think about other players like Kareem. You know, he's right up there, but I think LeBron's going to have a lot more points than him when he's all done. And you think about Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, people like that. I do think LeBron's a little bit ahead of them.
Little bit. I think he's talking about Larry Bird.
Yeah,
LeBron
just a little bit.
LeBron is very, very beyond.
Just a little bit ahead of Larry Bird.
Way more. Larry Bird is a better shooter 10 times over. But you're talking about overall greatness. Larry Bird, I don't think is that close to LeBron. I think really Michael Jordan's the only one that touches him. Scoring, you got Wilt and Michael Jordan each having the most points per game in history. Yeah. But for me, it has now moved into LeBron James. Let's go on to our next topic, though. We're going to stick with the Lakers. We're actually have a lot of basketball topics, which is very unusual for the show, but there's been a Laker reunion. A huge trade that broke the day before the trade deadline that involved Russell Westbrook finally being traded off the Los Angeles Lakers. And bear with me, because this is a decently long trade. It's a 3-team trade. The Lakers received D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley. The Jazz, who were involved with this, got Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and the Lakers' 2027 first-round pick, which is between picks 1 to 4. It's protected. The Timberwolves, who were in on this, got Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a 2024 second-round pick swap via Washington and Memphis. I'm reading this off sportsnews.com, so bear with me. A 2025 and 2026 second-round pick. Both were from the Utah Jazz. So this is a very long and extensive trade.
Unbelievable. I don't know how they figure that all out.
That's the crazy thing about it. You know, the Lakers finally got off Russell Westbrook. They got Malik Beasley, who's, I think, a pretty good wing defender. They got off Juan Toscano Anderson, who really was only a part of the Warriors.
Why did they do the trade? Just because they wanted D'Angelo Russell?
Well, they missed out on Kyrie Irving because the owner.
I'd say D'Angelo Russell's a pretty big step down from Kyrie Irving.
You would think, but
is he that big a step up from Russell Westbrook, who's playing well as the sixth man?
Russell could actually be a starter, D'Angelo Russell could actually be a starter compared to Westbrook, who's right now the sixth man. But is
D'Angelo Russell having a good year?
18 points, 6 assists per game.
Yeah,
and he's also a pretty good 3-point shooter. So. You know what? It's LeBron loves shooters. He needs shooters around him because LeBron can't do everything. So you put him and next to Anthony Davis. I mean, D'Angelo Russell was, I believe, drafted by the Lakers a few years ago.
Yeah.
He bounced around the league occasionally.
He was with the Nets for a while, wasn't he? D'Angelo Russell?
I think, I believe he was on the Nets, yeah. So D'Angelo Russell's back. He got into a little bit of so something happened with the Lakers back when he was on, and he got kicked out of there.
All right. He had an issue with telling the girlfriend of one of the
Nick Young, I believe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that he was cheating on her or something, cheating on her, and that got him in big trouble. I think that there was a locker room issue there. Yeah.
So D'Angelo Russell got kicked out of there, and you know what? He's back with the Lakers. Yeah. He's made a roundabout going throughout the league and ending up back with the Lakers. So
I mean, the Lakers are in what position right now? They're in the play-in.
I think they're out of the playoff.
They aren't even in the playoff.
I believe they're
number 11. I think
13th.
13th. And their record is
25-31.
And what's the play-in number 10? What's their
number
record?
10. They're 27-28. That's Portland.
Okay, so they're not. They could rally here.
They could.
Do these players, you think, coming in fresh legs and a fresh attitude and the chemistry, maybe they can move up in the standings and make the playoffs?
I think there's a serious shot.
They'd have to really.
Yeah,
how come they're not? How come they're so not there? I mean, they have.
It's LeBron and nobody. That's essentially what it is. Well,
now Davis is back.
They have Anthony Davis, and he's something. And there was something weird going on. I don't know if you saw it. When LeBron broke the record, Anthony Davis didn't stand up. He didn't cheer. He looked pissed off. it was a weird thing, and it broke the internet for a day or two. That Anthony Davis, it seemed like he was mad, and people were saying, "Are they going to trade him? Is he on the trading block for the Lakers? Does he know something that the Lakers organization was trying to keep under wraps?" But apparently, it came out that he was just very, very frustrated that they were losing to the Thunder. So, and they ended up losing to the Thunder at the end of that game. I believe it was 130.
I don't understand why LeBron wasn't in that game at the end, right at the end. How come?
I mean, you're 38 years old. You just go up. You broke the record. That's what you were really there for.
They should have been trying to win the game. They only lost it by a few points. With him out there, it could have made a difference.
It was very weird, though, because when LeBron was out there, they either came back from being down or they pushed forward in their lead. As soon as LeBron came out, they fell deeper and deeper and deeper down the hole.
That was weird. I didn't understand that.
But the problem is you can't put a 38-year-old to play all 48 minutes, even though it's LeBron James. Michael Jordan wouldn't do it. He would push for as many minutes as he can at 38 years old if he played. But, you know,
I don't think LeBron would have cared. I'm sure he wanted to win the game.
Well, they ended up losing. He only scored 2 points after that point as well. He scored his 36, took a break for a while, came in, scored 2 points, and that was basically LeBron's night. He did put up, I think, 7 rebounds and 4 assists, something like that. I think,
it'd be nice to see him win one more championship, but I don't see. I don't know. We'll see how this team gels together with these new players.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other 3 that they got besides him, is it 4 players or 3?
The Lakers got?
Yeah, they got.
The Lakers got Malik Beasley, who could shoot threes pretty well, and he's also a wing defender. D'Angelo Russell and Jared Vanderbilt, who I'm not too familiar with. But you know what? Let's look him up right now. He's averaging 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists.
8 rebounds is pretty good.
So yeah, 8 rebounds. He is a 6'9" power forward.
Okay.
So he's played for Denver, Minnesota, and Utah. So this season he's averaging actually his career high in points and close to his career high in rebounds per game.
Okay.
So I mean he's not going to be he's a 33% 3-point shooter. So he's not a shooter.
Not so good.
He's not a shooter for any means. But you know what? Maybe you get him another big man because you don't. I mean the Lakers don't have playmakers. That's the problem. It's LeBron. Anthony Davis, who is basically half a person right now because the other half is injured all the time. You had Russell Westbrook, who was supposed to be your big 3. He just turned out to be literally a bust for you. You sent him off to the... He's probably going to win 6 man of the year, though.
6 man of the year.
He's probably going to win 6 man of the year, but he's not a starter for you. You need to have starters out there. But outside of that, Lakers really had no one. You bring in D'Angelo Russell, you bring in Malik Beasley, you bring in Jared Vanderbilt. I think they got a shot to at least make the play-in.
Yeah.
Now, if they don't make the play-in, that's a problem.
Yeah, I think so.
That is a serious problem because you got to win, 2-3 games to get into the play-in and have the rest of them lose.
Still a lot of games.
There is. We're just past the halfway point now in the NBA season. The All-Star game is this weekend, although people are going to be watching the Super Bowl, not really watch the All-Star game. They're probably going to watch, I think the slam dunk contest and 3-point contest are the day before, so Saturday, so tomorrow, I believe. But these All-Star games, I just haven't been following at all whatsoever. Like the Pro Bowl, that was, I'm sure it was fun.
We made our picks. We'll see who wins. Yeah. I think my team's going to win. Giannis. Team Giannis.
I'm going, Team LeBron. Yo, if LeBron picks my team, they're going to be winning out here. Because my team was...
We'll see how different their teams are than ours, right?
It's going to be interesting to see how different they actually are. But to get to the part of the question I want to ask was, do you think it was smart that the Lakers actually got off Russell Westbrook? Because you know what, at the beginning of the year he looked terrible. Now you bring him in, 6 man of the year. You replace him with D'Angelo Russell. Do you think that was a smart idea to get off Russell Westbrook?
D'Angelo Russell's a lot younger than Westbrook. Westbrook's up there in age, right?
He's early 30s or to mid 30s. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Westbrook has lost his outside shot. He doesn't have that anymore, right?
He never really had an outside shot.
But he's playing well as a 6 man. So what was he averaging in points, Westbrook?
I could look that up for you. Let's see. Russell Westbrook was averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds, and almost 8 assists.
All right. So not that much. Russell and him, really not that much difference.
Right.
Right. But
he's 34 years old.
Yeah. But D'Angelo Russell will be a starter, so that's a difference.
Yeah.
That's different.
Because
I don't know who will be the 6th man now for the Lakers. I don't know. They don't have much of a bench, I don't think.
They really got nothing. Yeah. It's LeBron and some scrubs. Well, Anthony Davis as well. I mean, you got Malik Beasley now. He's coming in. You know, I think
How many points does he average a game?
Malik Beasley. I feel like I've heard his name for years at this point, even though it's only 2017. 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He's 40% from the floor, 36% from 3. So,
how many minutes a game is he playing?
He is averaging. Is that even a stat? Oh, here we go. 27 minutes a game.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
Shooting guard from the Jazz. So, you know, maybe the Lakers have a shot. Once again, play it. At least a play, and they should get to.
I'd like to see him get into the playoffs, and at least get into 1 7-game series. You know, that'd be good to see.
That's going to be tough, though. That's going to be tough because the Lakers.
Oh, they got a lot of games left to play. If they could get on a run.
Yeah. No. You know? That is definitely true. All right, let's move into the other breaking news that broke. I believe it was 2 nights ago. I tried to get up as fast as possible in the YouTube Shorts, but Kevin Durant has been traded to the Phoenix Suns, and you thought that Lakers deal was huge. This is an even bigger trade because it originally involved 2 teams and it expanded to 4 teams.
4 teams.
So let's try to break this down.
Okay.
The Suns get TJ Warren and Kevin Durant. The Nets got McCall Bridges, Cam Jordan, Juan Pablo Valette, 2023, 2025, 2027, and 2028 first round picks. That 2028 first round is a pick swap. They also got 2028 second round pick from Milwaukee, 2029 first round pick from Phoenix, a 2029 second round pick from Milwaukee.
Wow.
The Bucks just get Jay Crowder. The Pacers get George Hill, Serge Ibaka, Jordan Nwora, 3 future second round picks from Milwaukee, and cash considerations from Brooklyn. If you are lost, I am lost with you.
I don't know why Milwaukee. It seems like they gave up an awful lot just to get Jay Crowder.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what did they give up again?
They gave up a 2028 second round and a 2029 second round to the Nets and gave up 3 future second round picks to the Pacers.
Huh. Just to get Jay Crowder?
And Jay Crowder has not played a single minute this entire season.
And they gave up no players, though. They just gave up picks and wound up with just Jay Crowder.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
You think I do?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense because
he hasn't played at all this year.
Hasn't played a single minute.
Is he going to play? Can he play now? Or is
here's the thing, though. I don't think he's hurt. I just think the Suns decided to say, yeah, you're just going to be sitting all the
so
time.
He's just been sitting on the bench.
I don't think he's actually hurt. I mean, I'll look it up, but I, for some reason, feel like he's just, there's no injury on him. He's not hurt whatsoever. So, do you think that the Suns acquiring Kevin Durant makes them the team to beat in the
West?
Not the West, in the NBA? Because right now they have the 3rd best odds behind the Celtics and behind the Nuggets to win. Or I'm sorry, the Boston and Milwaukee. They passed the Nuggets in odds to make it to, I believe, to win the NBA. So
they're number
Finals.
3.
They're number 3 right now. So right now they are favored to win the West because they're above Denver in finals odds. So
I think you have to see them play together for 3 or 4 weeks to see how they do chemistry wise.
Okay.
It's going to take a little while for them to get it together. Who's the other guy that went in that trade to
Phoenix? TJ Warren.
Is he any good or just a throw in?
9.5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist.
Oh.
Small forward, 6'8".
Kevin Durant is a game changer.
100%.
For sure. And now he's playing with some very good pieces with him, right? Chris Paul.
Yep.
And the center is really good.
DeAndre Ayton and also Devin Booker.
Devin Booker, yeah. So, yeah, I think that this has the smell of the Warriors when he was on the Warriors, all the pieces they had.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. So it came out that I have it here. So apparently the Nets were offered 4 first-round picks for McCall Bridges. Didn't go through, apparently. And also,
they were offered 4
first-round picks for McCall Bridges per Zach Lowe.
I don't know who's. I don't even know Bridges that well. Is he?
He's on the Suns. He was on the Suns. He got traded to the Nets in that trade.
Okay, in that trade. So he's a good player.
I mean, if he's worth, I'll look up
4
his stats.
first-round picks.
17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, basically.
He's a guard.
Small forward.
Small forward.
And here it is. The Grizzlies were also involved in this to try in Kevin Durant sweepstakes. The Grizzlies were prepared to offer every pick and every pick swap possible for Kevin Durant. The Nets wanted either Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., or Desmond Bane in return. And the Grizzlies were not prepared to get off that. That is basically the full the full extent to how much the Grizzlies wanted.
I could
Kevin
see him
Durant.
not giving up Ja Morant, but how about those other two guys?
Jaren Jackson. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't give up him.
Yeah,
Ja
for Kevin
Morant and
Durant,
KD.
They could have swapped 1 for 1 and with the picks.
And apparently the Grizzlies were ready to give up every single pick they have and pick swap possible. And the Nets just wanted one of those players.
That's all they wanted was one of those players.
The Nets wanted either Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., or Desmond Bane in return.
I don't understand that.
I think that's a little bit of a lost point on Memphis to try to bring in KD.
Maybe KD didn't want to go to the Grizzlies.
I don't think he's got to say.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got to say, but I'm saying no. This does not make them the team to beat in the NBA. Nor do I think they'll even make it to the NBA Finals. And if miraculously the Suns do make it, they're not going to win because Chris Paul, for some reason, has a curse on him. He's never able to win an NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Never. So I'm sticking with, you know what? This first of all, this is Kevin Durant's chance. This there's gonna be a lot of pressure on KD. He thought there was a lot of pressure on him at Golden State. The crowd is gonna get very noisy now because KD is once again back to ring chasing like he did with the Warriors, and now it's to a team that won over 60 games last year. They lost to Dallas, and every year they lost to Milwaukee in the NBA Finals 2 years ago. They lost, I believe, in the semis to Dallas. And now here they are. Devin Booker is banged up. Chris Paul has been banged up this year. KD comes in. For some reason, KD is a very thin player for how tall he is.
I know.
And he's also very, very fragile. Even healthy. I think this team does not win an NBA Finals. Because it just, on paper, this team is extremely, extremely talented. We've seen what Boston can do to Kevin Durant last year with the Nets. KD was basically a no factor in that game. In any one of those games, he was shut down. He couldn't shoot the ball, couldn't drive. Jason Tatum played great defense on him. So if the Celtics make it back and they go up against Phoenix, I think I'm going to pick the Celtics to win the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think for some reason Chris Paul has a curse, and Kevin Durant he's been banged up. Chris Paul's been banged up. Devin Booker's been banged up. And
Devin
I just don't think this
just
team
coming back now from an injury.
Yeah, he's coming back. But I just don't think this team can get it done. So Durant to Phoenix, it's going to be interesting to watch for sure. He's back to ring chasing. He thought the pressure was high in Golden State. Wait till you get to Phoenix and the crowd, starts picking on you a little bit down at the court about ring chasing again.
My guess is he'll score a lot of points there. I think because you can spread the ball around to a lot of people who can score.
Yeah.
There, and that will open it up for him. He should have some very good looks at the basket, and I think he'll score a lot of points.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who's probably one of the most efficient scorers in NBA history in Kevin Durant.
Nice outside shooter, man.
Yeah,
and shoot it.
He was one toenail away to making it to that NBA Finals against the Suns a couple years ago against Milwaukee, but his foot was on the line, so it only counted as 2 points, and they ended up losing to Milwaukee in overtime. So, I don't know. I don't think KD's going to get there, and you know what? Once again, the Warriors were that was a
he should have stayed there.
No pun intended. That was his golden place to be.
He'd probably have 3 more championships if he'd stayed there.
He definitely would have had that third one. They would have had a three-peat if the Golden State Warriors weren't injury riddled in that series against Toronto. You had KD tearing his ACL and then subsequently tearing his Achilles. Then you had KD going down, re-tearing, I believe, his Achilles. So, I mean, if they were healthy, they would have beaten Toronto. Have a three-peat, maybe even more.
Yeah.
But KD decided, you know what? This is Steph's team. I want to try to get one on my own. I respect that.
He hasn't
Bad
succeeded
decision.
yet.
Then you go to Brooklyn. A cataclysmic failure in that one. You bring in James Harden. You go with your buddy and Kyrie over to Brooklyn. You could have gone to the Knicks. Decided to go to Brooklyn. That team blows up almost instantly. James Harden comes in well overweight. He cuts it down a little bit. He decides to leave, goes to Philadelphia. Kyrie bails on you. You actually bailed on them beforehand because you couldn't put up with Kyrie, reportedly. And then Kyrie bails on you this season, and then you decide to abandon ship now. So the Brooklyn Nets are in a rebuild
Did
right
he
now.
ask for a trade, KD?
This summer. Remember, he demanded a trade.
This summer, but this trade that it was just made, I don't think he asked for it, did he?
He met with the Brooklyn Nets executives on the future of the franchise, but that apparently, no details came out about that. But I assume KD's like, hey, I think it's time for y'all to rebuild. I would like to be moved to another team.
Yeah.
And that's probably what happened behind closed doors. So KD to the Phoenix Suns, along with a plethora of other picks that we may touch upon because the trade deadline was absolutely insane. But coming up, we make our Super Bowl predictions and we discuss some of the recent headlines that go around sports right after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
Or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic because 23 weeks, 46 episodes of the Harvey Hour, culminating into this final one where we talk about our picks. Our final pick of the entire NFL season is coming down to this. We're talking about the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Eagles, the first number one seeds to face off each other since, I believe, 2017, Patriots and Eagles. It's coming right down to this. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes shooting for his second ring. Jalen Hurts hoping for his first. I think it's time to make our picks.
Okay, well, at the beginning of the season, the very beginning of the season, I said the Chiefs would be in the Super Bowl, and I was right. And now I'm picking them to win.
Okay.
And I think they will beat them by 24-20.
Okay.
I think that the Eagles have a good all-around team. They don't have much experience. They have very little. I don't know. Have anybody that played in the Super Bowl on their team?
Jason Kelsey, I believe, is one of the very, very few, if there are any others besides him.
So, to me, the Super Bowl is a very different game compared to any other game you play during the season, even any other playoff game, because there's so many delays during the game, right? I mean, they have lots of timeouts. The halftime is basically an hour long while they have all the entertainment going on. And I think that affects players who have not been in it before. And I think it make them more uptight. They have a harder time being loose, getting into a rhythm. And the Chiefs have been there 3 out of the last 4 years, won one of them, and have a very good team this year. I think they've got superstars on offense, Mahomes and Kelsey. And on defense, they have Chris Jones. And I think those guys are going to step up and make big plays. I like the the Chiefs to win.
Okay. I am taking what the color of my shirt is, and I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles right now, and I'm very nervous about this pick because Jalen Hurts does not look right. He has not looked right the entire playoffs. So I'm actually banking on two things to happen. I'm first banking on Mahomes to play like his normal Super Bowl Mahomes self, which has been, dare I say, bad. I'm going to say he's played very bad in the Super Bowl. Because in the Super Bowls, he has 2 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, does not have a single 300-yard game. Mahomes is averaging over 300 yards for his career. He doesn't have a 300-yard game. Very low completion percentages in both those games. A quarterback rating, his highest was 78.1 of passer rating. Not great against the 49ers. He had a 52.3 against the Buccaneers in that horrible offensive line. They lost 31-9, didn't score a single touchdown. Mahomes has not played well in the Super Bowl whatsoever, so I'm hoping.
I think that game, though, the offensive line let him down big time. They were terrible. He was under pressure all the time against the Bucs.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But
I think they've got a much better offensive line this time around.
Even against the 49ers, he didn't play very well. I think he had barely over 50% completion percentage.
Yeah, but the game they won against the
49ers.
Right. And what was the other two? They've lost 2 out of 3. Who were they lost to the Bucs and who else?
The Bucs, and that's it. He's been in only 2 Super Bowls.
I thought this was the third.
This is the third.
Oh, this is the third, right. This is the third year. Okay. So, yeah, he's 1-1 then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think he'll have a good game.
Why? What?
Because I think the offensive line is better.
His offensive line was good in the 49ers Chiefs Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, the 49ers game, they did win.
Barely. I'm not going to say barely because they won by 11, but he did not have a good game, though.
Yeah.
This is in large part due because the running game, they had over 100 yards rushing. For a Chiefs team, that just doesn't happen. 17 carries, 104 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
And also, you had Jimmy G overthrow Emmanuel Sanders by 15 yards.
Yeah, right.
So,
well, I think the offensive line is better for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
They have a decent running game, and they have Travis Kelce, and I think that will be enough.
Well, okay, what do you say about the Eagles' passers? They have 70 sacks in the regular season, third most including the playoffs.
They have
in
a
NFL
good defense,
history.
But they have Mahomes is quite mobile. He's very mobile.
What about that foot that everyone's talking about? His high ankle
Yeah,
sprain.
he should be in pretty good shape now. He's had 2 weeks of rest.
I'm banking on the Eagles to do.
But you know what? I agree with you. The Eagles quarterback is Jalen Hurts has not played so well recently, and he's had an injury too. He had a shoulder injury, right?
Yeah.
I mean, his stats in the last playoff game? They weren't good, right?
Good.
His passing yards are very low. He wound up running the ball quite a bit when he probably shouldn't have been because he had that shoulder injury. So I think that the Eagles are going to have a hard time because they don't have the experience in this game. And Jalen Hurts has been playing spotty. He had 1 good game against the Giants.
Well, okay, I counter you with this. Mahomes in his first Super Bowl didn't have a lot of experience.
No, but
he won by 11.
Yeah.
It's going up against a tremendous 49ers defense. So the way you get experience is to play in these types of games.
Yeah, well.
Mahomes has played in 2 of them, got obliterated in 1 of them, and had a really, really good comeback and a failure by Jimmy G. So, I mean, we've seen Jalen Hurts in 2 playoff games. Their defense has been the answer, essentially, allowing only 14 total points, 7 in each of these games. So, the Eagles right now, people are saying, oh, yeah, they played this team and that team and the other team. They've taken care of these teams. So, right now, Mahomes, he's going to be pressured more than he is basically the entire season. But Jalen Hurts, I think he's going to have a really good game because I think I have it here. I forgot to get the graphic up properly, but yeah, okay, here we go. So, the Jalen Hurts, right, is a league high plus 7.4% of his passes over expected on something called a split safety coverage in the regular season. He averages 8.5 yards per attempt in this coverage. Mahomes is 8.6, barely beating him. The Chiefs play over basically 60% of their snaps are in this split safety coverage. This is the most since the 2018 Texans. 58.1% for the Chiefs, 55.3% for the 2018 Texans. So right now, the way what Jalen Hurts has been throwing very well against has been the type of coverage that the Chiefs use almost 60% of the time. So I'm taking Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts can just dink and dunk the entire game and run out. Just keep Mahomes off the field. That's all you got to do. Run the ball. They are the number one. I think they're well up there. I have it right here. They're the number 5 rushing team in the NFL this season. So you put that up against the Chiefs defense that, albeit has a pretty good rush defense at 8th, but that's because no one runs it against them. Literally 0 people running against them usually. They pass it against them, and that's where the Chiefs defense is 30th in attempts, so they throw it a lot, and are 18th in yards given up. They have the 11th total defense. So I'm taking the Eagles here. The Eagles right now have the 3rd total offense and 2nd total defense compared to the Chiefs' 1st total offense and 11th total defense. So I think we got to see a smarter Jalen Hurts where he decides his deep ball to the right side has not been there whatsoever. I'm a little bit nervous about his shoulder, but I think you hand the ball off, you get a run game going, do exactly what the Commanders did to you. Run the ball 47 times. That's what you got to do. Keep Mahomes off the field. Minimize, and also, for some reason, no one has decided to do this. Travis Kelce runs the same damn route every single play, it seems. His stupid little goes up about 6-7 yards, turns around, catches it, and no one's around him for 4 or 5 yards. For whatever reason, and then he gets like 8 yards after the catch.
Yeah.
Man him. Someone man him. Don't put a corner there. Put a fast linebacker. You know what? Put Hassan. I don't know. I don't have Hassan Reddick's coverage ranking here, but put him in coverage. He's a really good pass rusher though, so I don't know if you would do that. Put one of your great linebackers in there. Put him in coverage against Travis Kelce. Man him up, because it's going to be short routes. Travis Kelce is a tight end. He doesn't go deep. The deep ball has not been the Chiefs' forte this entire season. They are a big yards. Actually, the Chiefs' offense since Mahomes got there has been a tremendous yards after the catch team. And so what I'm saying is play tighter coverage, because it just seems like as soon as the play breaks down, that's when Mahomes is the greatest. Because the play breaks down, someone gets open for a 25, 30-yard gain. For whatever reason, that's always what happens. Contain Mahomes, Hassan Reddick. It's going to be the same thing with the Chiefs against the Bengals. Hassan Reddick needs to be the Chris Jones in that game. Have the game of his life. I think Hassan Reddick had I want to say 15 sacks this year. He's going to need 2 or 3 in this game to make a serious impact. And the offensive line for the Eagles has been great. Top 3, if not number 1.
I'm betting the Eagles turn the ball over at least twice.
What about Mahomes? He's throwing 2 interceptions in each Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping he won't turn it over. But I think that Hurts will turn the ball over.
So you're saying he turns the ball over twice?
I think the Eagles' offense will turn the ball over twice, and I think Hurts will turn it over at least once.
Jalen Hurts, over, under. We're prop betting right now. Over, under 240.5 yards. Over, under.
Under.
Ooh. Mahomes, 295.5. Over, under.
Over.
Things over 300 yards? He hasn't thrown over the most he's thrown was, I think,
this is his game. He's going to do it this time.
He threw 286 against the 49ers and 270 against Tampa. You're saying he's going over?
It's not that far off, 30 yards.
Passing touchdowns. He hasn't. Mahomes hasn't thrown more than 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl yet. Over or under 2.5?
I think he's over.
You think he's over? Okay. And same thing for Jalen Hurts, except it's 1.5. Jalen Hurts has had a tough time scoring.
I think he's under.
Okay, what about rushing yards? This is an easy prop bet. Boston Scott there, running back 2 or 3. Over under 5.5 yards. I think that's an over for me. This is going to be interesting.
5.5 yards for the whole game?
For the entire game, yeah. 5.
I think he'll get
vote that for the over. And this one's going to be the interesting one that I think is going to be very, very important. Pacheco for the Chiefs. Over under 50.5.
Over.
They're going to need to run the ball well.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge key in this game.
That is a key.
And then, there's receptions that I don't really care of reading. So I think a key is going to be you got to protect Mahomes. You also have to run the ball decently well because the Chiefs have not run the ball very well. And then
They've run the ball well in the playoffs, so.
not this last game against the Bengals. They had a couple of
I
decent
thought
runs.
Pacheco had a pretty good game.
He had like 27. I think he averaged 2.7 yards a carry. And it was like
One
10.
of those games, one of the playoff games, he had a good game.
I don't think the Chiefs have not been able to run the ball very well. But I think they're going to need to run the ball well enough to at least help out Mahomes in some way. So it's going to be an interesting game. I'm picking the Eagles here. Jalen Hurts gets his first ring, puts some respect on his name, and Mahomes goes down in a pit of fire, once again losing his second Super Bowl.
Wow.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting.
I'll be looking forward to it. I got my red on. I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
I'm going to raise the ante here. I'm going to raise the ante.
All right.
If the Eagles win, I'm dressing in what they would call Sunday's finest clothing, except it'll be on a Monday. I'm coming in dressed very, very high and mighty for that for Monday's show.
Oh, good for you.
I'm going to dress up in a nice suit to commemorate a tremendous victory for not my Philadelphia Eagles, but for one day my Philadelphia Eagles, because for Patriots fans, this is just who cares? This is just dart in a dark room and just throw it to see what sticks.
Yeah,
because Patriots fans
I'm not
hate the
feeling
Chiefs,
much
hate the
pressure.
Eagles.
Not feeling the pressure like I would if the Patriots are in the game.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Last year though, I was
Me,
feeling a lot
it'll
of
be
pressure.
just fun to watch. Whatever team I'm rooting for the Chiefs. If they don't win, I won't be throwing things or being upset or anything.
Last year though, I was feeling some pressure in that the Bengals Rams Super Bowl, because I was after the wild card, I was hitting on all cylinders. I think I picked every correct game from the divisional game on. So I was feeling a lot of pressure to go. What would that be like?
Are we tied in playoff wins and losses here?
I believe we're. I don't have my.
So it's this game.
card in
This
front of me.
game turns it is the deciding factor for us.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what exactly happens. I got the Eagles 28-24. You got Chiefs 24-20. So
Go Chiefs. You're
picking the under on the points. Well, I believe it's 50.5. I'm going with the over.
Yeah, I think the defenses are too good to get the over.
I just feel like, you know what? They'll slip up. There'll be a couple weird touchdowns. And like I said, I called it. At the end of the game, there'll be a penalty that makes the Chiefs win. That's what happened in that last game. So I don't know. I'm going to hopefully hit on all cylinders for this game. But let's go with a new segment I like to call the Harvey headlines. We're just gonna we've did this on the last show, actually. At the very end of the last show, we just did some quick topics to just end the show with some nice topics. I decided to make that into a segment. So the first one is Tom Brady today has officially filed his retirement letter to the NFL and NFLPA, essentially sealing the deal that he is not coming back to play for the rest of his life.
Uh-huh.
So what's your quick reaction on Tom Brady filing his retirement letter?
I'm not sure I believe it. That he's finally
he filed his retirement.
Filed his letter. What does that mean? He can rescind it, right? What's he doing next year? He hasn't really said what he's doing next year. He hasn't said whether he's going to be an announcer or not, right?
We talked about this. 2024.
Yeah, but what's he going to do in 2023?
Take time off. Study the game. Watch football.
I think he's going to be waiting around later in the year. So one of the quarterbacks for a good team gets hurt. They're going to call him up, and he's going to come out of retirement.
I don't think so, because think about it. Last year, he didn't even file one. 40 days.
Yeah.
40 days between.
He may be thinking this now, but you wait and see. If the season begins, I don't know why he's not going into the booth in 23. Why is he doing that? I mean,
you're asking the wrong person.
I mean, he's got a huge contract for it, right?
Yeah. But
so,
that's whenever he.
I don't know. I don't understand it. What he's got planned. It's
whenever he
hasn't really said what he's going to do, right?
He's keeping it a secret. He's going to take some time off. I mean, he's played 32 years of his life. He's been playing football. I think the guy deserves at least a year off, 18 months off. Yeah. So he's going in there. He's taking a break. But think about it.
To me, after I take a few days off, I'm ready to do something.
Well, you don't play football.
That's true.
You're not getting your head bashed in by guys with 340
He's not going to be doing
pounds.
that. He's not going to be doing that going into the booth.
Right.
The announcing booth. He's going to get his head banged in doing that.
He said 32 years of getting hit.
Yeah.
You got to take at least a year off of that. That 33rd year. Yeah. It was reported he was feeling exhausted.
Tony Romo didn't do that. Peyton Manning didn't do that.
You know why? Because Tony Romo took years off when he was already hurt for his back injuries and stuff like that. So that was his time off.
I don't understand it. I'll wait and see. It'd be interesting to watch, see what he does.
Just think about this, though. It took him 9 days to do it. He didn't even do it last year. So I think this is a sign. He even said on his podcast that he's done.
Yeah, well, we'll be going to the Hall of Fame game and induction on 2028 together.
That's
right?
news to me.
Yeah,
Let's
can
go.
Let's go. I want to be there for that.
JJ Watt's there. I mean, you're talking about tickets that are gonna be, thousands of dollars here,
Yeah,
probably.
JJ Watt will probably get in on the
JJ
first
Watt's
ballot.
definitely gonna get in. Oh, speaking of Hall of Fame. I actually don't have that topic. The awards were happening yesterday, but we'll get into that after this next topic. Our favorite NFL player, one Mr. Aaron Rodgers, on the Pat McAfee show, he informed the public that he's going on a 4-day, what he calls darkness retreat, to help him decide his future in the NFL or potentially his life outside of the NFL. What's your reaction when Aaron Rodgers?
What the hell is a darkness retreat? What does that mean?
He's going into a house, and I'm assuming
Turn the lights out?
he's going to be, I believe, in a bathroom for 4 days where food is going to be given to him through a slot, I believe. Basically, he's going to prison for 4 days in complete darkness. That's essentially what it is.
I don't understand that.
Hey, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's a quirky dude.
Is this kind of something other people do, or I never heard of a darkness retreat?
He said he knows a couple people that have done it, and they've mental clarity.
Yeah.
Hey.
Good luck to me being in a bathroom for 4 days with the lights out. I'm not sure.
You get food fed through you with a slot. It's like prison. You're in solitary
Is this at his home? Is that where he's going to be?
I think this is just somewhere in the woods, truthfully. I think it's just somewhere away from civilization to find
Well, somebody's got to be there to give him his food. Huh?
find his inner self,
When's he going to do it?
I think soon. I didn't actually
After the Super Bowl?
I don't actually know when it. I assume it's very, very soon because the Packers need to know at some point. So we're gonna see. I think it's gonna be very, very interesting.
I got a prediction.
What?
He's going to come out of the darkness and he's going to say, I'm going to play.
Okay, and you think it's for?
The money.
Well, I'm talking about a team. Obviously, he's making $50 million a year.
I'd
say
it's probably likely the Packers.
I'm sticking with my Packers pick.
Yeah, and probably likely the Packers, but they may try to see what they could get for him.
Maybe. Now I don't have these topics, so I'm gonna get rid of the topic bar. Because we're talking about I'm talking about the NFL awards. I'm gonna hopefully find the list very, very quickly. But Patrick Mahomes did win. I meant to say this in when we talked about the Super Bowl picks. Mahomes won MVP.
Yeah.
And no quarterback since Kurt Warner in 1999 has ever won the Super Bowl and won the MVP. The closest would have been Matt Ryan in 2016, up 28-3 against the Patriots. But Mahomes MVP, Offensive Player of the Year went to Justin Jefferson. Defensive Player of the Year to Nick Bosa. Brian Daboll, as I said in week one after the Titans-Giants game, he won Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say I predicted that before literally everyone else. You're welcome. DeMeco Ryans, the defense coordinator and now head coach of the Texans. He won Assistant Coach of the Year. Geno Smith won Comeback Player of the Year, beating out Saquon and CMC. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver of the Jets, won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Sauce Gardner on the Jets, cornerback for the Jets, won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Dak Prescott won Walter Payton Man of the Year. So those are your awards, and there are some others. And then I'm gonna assume.
What are the others?
There's NFL Moment of the Year, which I think is the Justin Jefferson one-handed catch against, I believe who they were playing. Was that the Buffalo Bills on like that 4-13 or whatever?
Yeah.
He made that insane one-hand catch. Ron Rivera won the Salute to Service Award. FedEx Air Player of the Year went to Joe Burrow. Ooh. Mahomes had the most yards and they gave it to Joe Burrow. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Josh Jacobs won the Ground Player of the Year. The Bud Light Selly of the Year was the Cincinnati Bengals defense. There's a few others that Jim Brown Award goes to Josh Jacobs. Deacon Jones Award goes to Nick Bosa. Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, Calais Campbell. Angry Run of the Year, running back for the Houston Texans, Damian Pierce. And the 2023 Hall of Fame class, here we go. It goes Rondé Barber, who was the Buccaneers defensive back. Darrelle Revis, cornerback of the Patriots, where he won his only ring, and the New York Jets. Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, DeMarcus Ware, and those are all the players. And then it goes to a couple coaches and
They made the Hall of Fame, or
that was the Hall of Fame class amongst Don Coryell, Chuck Howley, Joe Klecko, and Ken Riley. So that's the year 2023 Hall of Fame class. So I still think Devin Hester as a kick returner, as a returnman, still got snubbed again. He got snubbed.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be. But the question of who would you replace him with, and I really can't put him over I can't put him over really any of these players. That's the problem. I do think he deserves to get in. I just can't see a place where I would
get
put
in
him.
as a kick returner.
Yeah, but who would you replace in this class, though?
Are there any kick returners that have made it in this class? I don't think
Not.
so.
I'm talking about who would you take out of this class and put
Why
in?
do you have to take somebody out?
So I'm pretty sure
just add another person.
I'm pretty sure there's only a set amount you're allowed to have in the Hall of Fame per year.
I didn't know that.
I think it was. How many players are here? 1, 2, 3. Well, there's 5 players and 4, I guess, coaches and okay, no, that makes sense. But yeah, I can't put Devin Hester above any of these players, so it's very, very difficult to swap whoever it would be. But and also, I just want to get your quick thoughts on this. So Derek Carr has only been allowed to seek, other teams recently, and the only team he's visited. He's done 2 trips, was the New Orleans Saints. And there was a report out that he actually had a plan to meet with the Carolina Panthers, but decided not even to go to that meeting. Or I guess he turned it down. So do you think Derek Carr to New Orleans is a good idea? Going back with his former head coach and Dennis Allen?
Maybe. I don't know why it wouldn't be. I think there
could be better choices out there.
The Saints did not so well in the last year. They had Andy Dalton for most of the year. They have some offensive weapons, right? They have some wide receivers that are okay.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas, right?
He's hurt.
Good.
He doesn't play. Yeah, he hasn't played, I think, 2-3 years.
Seems like he'd heal up eventually.
That was supposed to be this season.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the case.
They have the Kamara.
They have him. Yeah. They have him. They have Chris Olave.
Yeah, and their defense is pretty good. So I think
I think there's better choices out there. The Jets.
Yeah, the Jets would be the better choice.
49ers, if they wanted a quarterback not named Brock Purdy or Trey Lance.
Yeah, I think they're going to stick with Brock Purdy. And Trey Lance is the
backup.
backup.
Brock Purdy's getting surgery in 12 days, and supposedly he'll be back. It's not Tommy John. He doesn't need reconstructive surgery. He's just going to get surgery to repair it. He'll be back supposedly by training camp.
Huh.
Supposedly. Trey Lance, I think Trey Lance has had.
I didn't realize it was an injury that required surgery, huh?
It's UCL.
Yeah.
He couldn't go back in the game.
Well, he wound up back in the game, but he
didn't throw.
I know.
He threw 2 passes that were not even a yard away.
Yeah.
It's just that he doesn't need Tommy. The big news is he doesn't need Tommy John surgery. That would literally take him out the entire year.
Yeah.
So, I think that does wrap it up for this episode of the Harvey Hour. My name's Stephen Harvey. Thank you all for tuning in. The clips will be uploaded, I think maybe even tonight, tomorrow, and then Super Bowl Sunday. Put your picks down below. I'm very, very curious to see what you guys think of who is your Super Bowl pick. I got Eagles. You got Chiefs.
Enjoy the Super Bowl, everyone.
It's going to be a great, great weekend filled with
Hopefully
sports.
It's a close game, exciting game.
Yeah, we're probably going to make the transition pretty quickly over to basketball. It's going to be a weird transition.
Pretty soon, baseball's going to get going, too.
We still got like a month and a half for that. But,
no, but the spring training,
nothing happens in spring training.
Yeah, maybe we should go down for a few games.
Yeah, okay. My name is Stephen Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are the Harvey Hour. We will catch you guys Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, to recap the Super Bowl. And who knows? I may be dressed up in a beautiful suit. Who knows? You should do the same, though, if the Chiefs win. I'm going to put that out. I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Yeah.
Coming to your Sunday, or at this point, Monday's finest. But we will see you Monday, 6:30 p.m. For another episode of the Harvey Hour.
Bye-bye.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.